This is Mask, Alabama.
We are an unarmed freighter.
We have a potential piracy situation.
Copy, Alabama. You should alert your crew. Get your fire hoses ready. Chances are it's just fishermen.
They're not here to fish.
Now, I've got to say, I've never been particularly called to the open ocean before. But after seeing this movie, I'm definitely not being called to the fucking open ocean. I can do without pirates, either modern-day Somali pirates or ye olde style pirates. But yeah, we're here today to review Captain Phillips. Of course, you've got Ben here and my partner in crime, Simon Adams.
Hi, everyone.
So yeah.
You know, if this film taught me one thing, right? I thought pirates were supposed to be fun.
I know. Where was where were the sea shanties and the rum? And I never saw one guy walk the plank.
No, not one. But then these weren't pirates. These were just fishermen.
Well, apparently so. Yes, the pirates that had moonlighting jobs. But yeah, I mean, this is Captain Phillips, Tom Hanks' new movie, directed by Paul Greengrass.
Yeah.
Who, it's kind of nice to see him do something maybe a little bit different than what he's kind of established himself as. You know, he's very much focused on the kind of action thriller, spy thriller in recent years.
I mean, he did all the good Bourne ones anyway. I mean, I like Bourne Identity, but he didn't do that one.
No,
And,
right.
I loved Green Zone, which I know that you and Paul weren't as fond of.
It's all right. I think I did it. I think I reviewed it way back in the day, but I think it was.
Did.
All right, okay. Yeah, I thought it was okay. I didn't love it, but I thought it was pretty good. He did U-1993 as well. Which is fucking amazing. I really like that film. I thought it was great.
Yeah, that's the best 9/11 movie.
Yeah, easily. But yeah, he's very much made his name as kind of pretty much with the Bourne films and then Green Zone. That's what he's kind of known for as a wider known name, I think.
He's like the male Catherine Bigelow is how I see it. And
yes.
I think their styles are very similar, especially when it comes to the military action. In fact, the latter part of this film, you could have lifted them straight out with Zero Dark 30 with it was the same in Navy SEALs team as well.
Yeah.
It killed Bin Laden, 1 year earlier they rescued a man from a pirate ship. They say that Navy SEALs are prepared for any event.
Yeah, God, they're pretty hardcore. But yeah, I mean, this is the true life, well, based on a true story event of Captain Richard Phillips, who is essentially a U.S. merchant navyman who's in charge of, was it the Alabama, the ship?
Yes, the Alabama.
And it's basically sent around the eastern coast of Africa, passing Somalia, and obviously anybody who's seen a newspaper in the last few years knows that there is problems with pirates in those waters. And the film's basically about Captain Phillips and his experience trying to deal with these pirates as they attack his ship and his responsibility to his crew, and the kind of slightly more dramatic turn of events as things unfold. And what I actually liked about this film, the trailer for this film made it look like it was going to be very much kind of Captain Phillips and the pirates in the bridge of the ship, and just kind of this battle of wills and wits. And it was nothing like that, really. That was a very, very small part of the film, and I actually thought that was for the better, to be honest, because going in I thought, how can they really stretch this for over 2 hours if it's just going to be that? But it wasn't. There was so much happens overall, way more than the trailer ever gives any credit for.
I mean, you get about an hour and a half in, and suddenly there's just like the cast list just doubles, and you've got like all these extra people that come into the story, and you see it from like probably gets much more screen time in the first half of the film than the second half of the film. Yeah,
I mean, he really doesn't have a whole lot to do in the second half of the film. I mean, the bits he is are very kind of striking, and
he's great in them because he doesn't, like you say, he doesn't have much to do, but when he has to do something, it has to be great, and it is.
Yeah.
It's Tom Hanks, by the way. Did we say that?
Oh yes, I don't know if we did, but yeah, I think I mentioned that he starred in it. But yeah, he's playing the titular role of Captain Richard Phillips, Cappy Phil. But yeah, I mean, Tom Hanks is, I think it's well known, he is kind of like he's a great actor. He's the modern day everyman, you know, that kind of everyman of Hollywood. Who's he compared to? Is it Jimmy Stewart? He's the modern day Jimmy Stewart?
Yeah, I think, well, he was an everyman, wasn't he? So.
Yeah, so he's but
what was nice, though, was the first half of the film, like, before the pirates attacked, he's a bit of an arsehole, really.
Well, that's actually one thing I thought. Like, this guy is not, like, romantic. Like, what I liked is...
It's not Kirk.
Yeah, he isn't Kirk, Jesus Christ. No, I mean, Captain Phillips is... he's not a romanticised character in this. He very much felt like this kind of everyday captain. You know, he has to be slightly detached from the men around him, and slightly a bit, as you put it, he's a bit of an arsehole. But I think that comes. I don't think he's necessarily an arsehole. I think that comes with the territory of being a captain.
Because you can't, like, no matter what we normally see in films, you can't be friends with your crew to the point where, you know, Kirk risks the breaking the protocol by rescuing Spock from a volcano.
Yeah,
I think Phillips would have left him. Personally.
Oh yeah, he would have. You know, it's not protocol. It shouldn't be done. That crew member signed up. He knew what he should have been in for. But he's very much a realistic portrayal of a captain. He tries to do what's right, at least as far as his opinion is. But he doesn't take shit, and he doesn't bend, and he's not friends with his crew. You know, he is the boss, and I like that about him. Tom Hanks felt like a very real character, and I suppose he is a real man. You know, he is a real guy. And we're saying he's a bit of a dick, actually. Something that's kind of... I don't think it's really come to light in this country, but over in America it's certainly been a big thing that Captain Phillips, the real world Captain Phillips, is actually currently in an ongoing court case against his crew members. Or at least some of his crew members. I don't know the specifics, but they're suing him for basically putting them in unnecessary danger during the events of what this film covers.
Yeah.
And while the film never really kind of goes to any lengths to say one way or the other whether he actually did, I can kind of see why... I mean, I don't know how accurate the film is, although from Captain Phillips' own mouth, it is reasonably accurate.
Yeah.
But I can kind of see why maybe some of his crew are a bit pissed off at him.
I can see it, but he did an Ask Me Anything on Reddit last night, and for me, like, I've seen the film, I've heard what the crew had to say, and I've now heard his explanation of what the crew have had to say. And for some of it, like, in the film, he makes sure that they go through a security drill in case there's a pirate coming.
Yeah.
And while they're doing this security drill, some fucking pirates come.
As luck would have it.
Yeah. I was like, oh, here we go, what Hollywood timing. But it turns out that did happen, except he wasn't doing a security drill, he was doing a fire drill. And then, before the pirates got there, he made them finish the fire drill. And they were like, the crew was saying that, you know, there was pirates about to attack us. We shouldn't have been finishing a fire drill. And he was saying, I was looking at what to do with the pirates. They were 7 miles away. It was still going to be a few hours before they caught up to us, kind of thing. Yeah. So you can understand why they're pissed off, because they should be doing something about the pirates, but what could they have done, kind of thing.
But... Yeah, I mean, I don't really know the specifics, but I can kind of see maybe... I think what I liked about this film is it doesn't paint him in this kind of heroic Captain Phillips light. I thought he was a really good character. I thought Tom Hanks was really good as him.
I was almost barely recognised Tom Hanks in this.
He looks a lot like... I wouldn't go so far as to say fatter, but he looks a bit more kind of stocky in this.
Or portly.
Portly, yeah. He's a portly... He's like the Captain Birdseye.
He is. It's have you heard that he's got diabetes? He came out just before the film came out, and that's why he's looking a bit different in his...
Right.
Like, from now on, he's going to look different because he's trying to deal with it.
Yeah, I mean, well, fair enough. But, I mean, one thing... Tom Hanks is good in the part, but towards the back end of this film, without saying too much, I thought he was fucking amazing.
Yeah, I think he might have jumped to my best actor of the year for at least the second half of this film.
Yes. I've got to say, like, since we started doing Screen Hog, there was one movie that really made me swell with emotion, and that was probably Les Mis.
Yeah.
Where I really got a sense of, like, some of the emotion in the characters, and they were really, really affecting. And this is the only time since then that I've felt that watching a film. I thought, it's like, particularly the ending bits, I thought were fucking great. I just thought they blew me away, really. And it really, really tipped my opinion of this film kind of over the edge. I was enjoying it, but it was kind of the latter parts that really kind of got me and sucked me in. I thought, damn, man, I can kind of see why this has been getting so much praise, and I can certainly see why Tom Hanks there's whisperings that he's going to get nominated, if not just win the fucking Oscar.
Yeah, well, if he doesn't get nominated, it would be a travesty, but right now, because if you think, the other film that I thought, like Les Mis was top for acting, but I also like Lincoln, but they were both last year's Oscars, so I can't think of anything that I've seen this year that comes close to this that will be included in this bunch of Oscars, but obviously we haven't hit the Oscar season yet.
Well, that's it. I think there's more to come, but
12 Years a Slave looks a shoe-in for a lot.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of good stuff about that. I've heard it's like the modern-day Roots, but I'm sure we'll get around to that.
I'm going to see it. We got a trailer for it before this.
Yeah, I didn't actually. I got a really strange mix of trailers.
Yeah.
I got The Hobbit.
Did you?
Yeah, and it wasn't even the newer trailer. It was the one that came out a few months ago.
All right.
I got Thor.
Yeah, didn't get either of them.
It was almost as if they put like the wrong trailer reel. It did not fit the tone of this film at all. The trailers I got, it was slightly bizarre. But
See what I got? I got James Corden.
Oh God, the
In that
fucking
thingy film.
It's the Paul Potts
Yeah,
biopic. I was like watching it, going, "Well, where's this going?
Yeah.
Where's this going?" And then the fucking Simon Cowell thing popped up, and I thought, "Oh shit,
Yeah.
they are not, are they?" And they got James fucking Corden to do
Yeah.
it. Jesus Christ,
Looks
man!
absolutely terrible. People are comparing it to Billy Elliot, and it's like, I quite like Billy Elliot. This does not look like it's got anything on it. But,
No, this looks like a fucking cash in on
Yeah.
a kind of minor celebrity.
but the weirdest thing we got, right, there was like these panning shots of like mountains and forests with like some really decent orchestral music that sounded somewhat familiar. And then it was like, from the mountains of the moon to the forests of the deep. And then I was just like, what the fuck's this? Because I thought it was a Hobbit trailer, and I don't know my Middle Earth geography. It's like, is there mountains of the moon in Middle Earth? Like, it sounded like it. And it was friggin' Anna Friel doing a World Wildlife Foundation appeal, but it was like the first 10 minutes, the first like 30 seconds of it was a build as like a Hobbit trailer.
God.
And then Anna
Well,
Friel comes in, I was like, I'm sure she's not in the Hobbit. Like,
no, is she an elf or something? I don't know. But God, it's nice to know that they're spending their fucking money wisely. Fucking getting Peter Jackson in to do their adverts. I mean, coming back to Captain Phillips. Well, I mean, we've seen Tom Hanks is really good in this film, but you know who else I thought was actually pretty damn good?
Captain.
The pirate captain,
Yeah.
Musay,
Yeah.
played by a guy called Barkhad Abdi, and he is pretty much. I wouldn't even necessarily say he's an actor. This is his first film.
pirate.
He's actually a pirate. You
It's
laugh.
actually him.
He's they didn't think about making a film at all. But no, I mean the guy. I don't know necessarily. I don't think he's an actor by the looks of it. He's been in like this is the only thing he's acted in, and he is actually from Somalia.
Yeah.
Originally, looking at his mini bio here, he's from Somalia but moved to the Yemen to escape civil war, as you want to
In
do.
Minneapolis, Minnesota.
So it's-
Goes after Somalia and Yemen.
well, it's next on the stop, and it's next on the list. But yeah, I thought he was actually pretty good.
He was amazing.
I really liked him.
Do you know who freaked me out though? Was his crazy lieutenant? Did you see his eyes?
Yeah, god damn it, he had like wild horse
Yeah.
eyes. It
I was just like, the captain he's like, what was his name? He's Musay. He's mean and he's a pirate. He's horrible. But the other guy was terrifying, and it's just like there's a moment when Tom Hanks is at this other guy's mercy, and you can see that he just wants to deal with the Musay again.
Yeah. Well, that's it. I mean, Musay, what I liked about him is he was, he wasn't just he knew what they needed to do essentially. He was always he tried to play it cool and keep it under control. He wasn't just a raving lunatic firing his gun up into the sky. He had a bit more about him than the rest of them. But of it, the situation kind of started to get away from him a little bit, and him and Captain Phillips are kind of playing. I wouldn't say necessarily go so far as to say playing mind games, but they're certainly kind of slightly. It's a strange kind of respect between the two of them.
There is, yeah.
Certainly, yeah. It's about. I mean, like Musay listens to the advice Captain Phillips has given him, just into kind of being a more decent person and treating people with dignity in this kind of very, very fucking dark situation.
Yeah.
And I quite like the relationship. And what I did really like about this film is Musay is as much a character, the main character, as Captain Richard Phillips. I mean, you see them both before they go out to sea, and you see their lives at home. And while I mention this, I should mention Catherine Keener.
She
is
was
in
a
this.
surprise when she turned up.
I really like Catherine Keener. I don't think she's in enough stuff, but she's only in like one scene, and she's Andrea Phillips, his wife, Captain Phillips' wife. But you kind of see both Phillips and Musay's life at home, and you see the differences. And what I liked about the pirates, the Somalians, were that they weren't bad. They were victims of circumstance and victims of their own society.
They were forced into it as much as Captain Phillips was forced to go on the boat that his boss was sending him on, essentially.
Yes, because I mean, he mentioned at the start he doesn't like doing it anymore. He doesn't like going away. But yeah, it's a nice parallel to draw.
Yeah, I thought so.
But
when the film was getting like criticism off the crew again. I don't want to go back to the politics of it all, but you know, they were saying that Captain Phillips wasn't the hero the film portrays him to be. I feel that this didn't have to be called Captain Phillips.
No.
This could have been called anything, and it would have worked, because this isn't Captain Phillips' film. This is a film half him, half the pirate guy. Because even at the end, when it's like, it gives you the you know, when you watch the end of a true life film and it tells you what happened to the characters afterwards, because you can't keep showing their lives, half of the screen's taken up with Captain Phillips' like continuation of his life, and the other half is the pirate.
Yeah. As I say, it's very much the other central character of this, and he's very much a fleshed-out character with legitimate motives. He's not just a cardboard cutout. I mean, Christ, they really could have painted him as the swashbuckling pirate, and you know, just not given him the proper costume. But no, they didn't. He was understandable. I could see where he was coming from.
Could you? And I was worried they were going to try and make us like empathise with them too much, but they really didn't force you to empathise with anyone in this film. It was just trying to portray what happened. Yeah,
it never got overly sentimental, and it pulled back when it ever even flirted with it. It was very kind of much just... It was very much focused on being a thriller more than a drama. And I thought, damn, there's something other than the kind of great performances in this film. I thought, damn, this is a tense film.
It was really tense, because there was a lot of people, obviously, that knew how the story ended. I didn't know how it ended.
No, I actually know very little. Well, I did know very little about Captain Phillips. I knew there was problems with the Somalian pirates. I don't know if they even still... God, I'm so uninformed. But I don't even know if this still is, or whether it's been stamped out. But I know a few years ago it was a big hot topic in kind of mainstream news. Yeah.
Well, it's apparently since the... God, I started watching Fox News this morning. It's such a mistake. It's really entertaining, though. It's like watching it's like watching The Onion live, because it's Fox News. But they were talking about piracy in Africa, and apparently since Captain Phillips' incident, Somalians are just like, nah, we're done now. Because like when the Navy sends 3 of its largest warships to like rescue one guy, they're kind of tapped out. So apparently now Nigerian pirates are taking over, which is on the other side.
Oh man. Well, yeah, we'll have another film next in a few years. But
the rest of the cast then.
I mean, mentioned Catherine Keener has a small part. I
did have something to say. The first mate, who I believe is played by Michael Chernus, who I know from Men in Black 3, is the guy that gives Will Smith the time travel gear.
Well, you know what, I'm looking on IMDb here, and I didn't recognise him during the film because he's got short hair, but as soon as I saw his IMDb profile picture, he has long hair. I was like, where's that guy from? And you know what? Yeah, I've not even seen Men in Black 3, but I know he's in it because he's in the trailer. Yeah. But that's where I recognise him from.
My problem with him was that I really believed that he was a first mate of a ship. You know, he followed his orders, but he also dictated, like what do you call it, where you give, you know, orders to people below you. What do you call it, man?
Or I don't know, ordering them about.
there's a word for it, but I can't remember what it is. And I believed him doing that, but I didn't believe him as an actor, so I don't know if he did a good job or not.
I thought he was. I liked him. I thought he was pretty good for you know, like I thought he was good for when he was in it. I know, much like Captain, I believe Tom Hanks was very much that kind of a realistic captain. I got the impression he was very much a realistic first mate. He wasn't friends with Captain Phillips, but there was a kind of like a more of a open relationship between them than the rest of the crew. And much like you said, when he was called upon it, he could command the crew. Yeah. So he was kind of like in a halfway house between what Captain Phillips has to be and the rest of the crew. And I liked him. I thought he was good. I thought...
really liked the engineer guy.
Yeah, the chief engineer.
Scotty,
yeah. Oh man, I'm just going to call him that from now on. Yeah, he was pretty good. I liked all the crew, actually. They were kind of like, you know, what you expect, like these kind of rough, gruff Navy guys, or burly guys. But again, they felt very real, like how they reacted. They were, I mean, these armed pirates who were unpredictable. These guys were frightened and didn't really know what to do.
But they still, like, you know, they still acted when they had to as well, because I'm assuming that there's some sort of discipline inbuilt into life at sea. And you know, when they're all hiding in the engine room, and then it's like at the right moment, they knew when to like step up.
Yeah. No, I mean that's it. I think that they were realistic and they were good, and none of them were irritating. There was not like that irritating, whiny motherfucker in the crew. There was nobody like that. Everyone just felt like a kind of person making the best of a bad situation, as it were.
There was one annoying person, but he was on the Navy ship, and I swear down he's been in every Navy film ever made, and he's the guy that just like shouts at where things are to the captain, and he's like, "Sir, the lifeboat is 260 miles off the Somalian coast," and then he'll just turn back to a screen. I'm like, I don't know who you are. You're just shouting like numbers at me.
Yeah, I know exactly who you mean. Yeah, I don't know.
He had a really squeaky voice.
Yeah, he was in the military.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, one thing we said is this film is tense, and one thing I really liked it is that the situations they find themselves in are constantly shifting and changing.
Yeah.
And yet the tension always seems to be. It's got a really nice flow to it. Like the situation will get tense and it'll kind of reach a climax, and then it'll shift into something else and move the film on, and then it nicely builds again. And there's a lovely like kind of peak and trough all the way through this film.
Like the ocean.
Oh God, you're full of them tonight. You're absolutely full of them. You'll be signing up to the Merchant Navy next.
I think I might. It looks exciting.
You get to fight pirates on the high seas. We've got a friend in the Merchant Navy.
Yeah, we do. I'm sure his life wasn't as exciting. Although he was going around the West Indies. You know, that's where it all started.
Exactly. Maybe he will become a pirate. I can't see it, but
we should have had him on. He could have solved some burning issues that we have.
Nautical questions that we have. He did do the World War Z review for us. Our friend Ian.
Yeah, he did do that, and I'm very grateful because I couldn't be bothered.
I must say I'm so not bothered. I still haven't seen it.
It's out on DVD now. I'm going to buy it tomorrow because it was great.
It's out, is it?
Yeah. I think it came out on Monday.
Oh, it's like a new release, is it?
Yeah.
Right, that makes sense. So yeah, I mean, Captain Phillips. I don't know. Have you got anything burning more to say to it? I don't know.
I mean, we've said that the second half of the film, like drama-wise, Tom Hanks just comes into his own. But I also think we should say that the first half of the film, just in terms of the plot, is very different to the second half of the film.
Yes.
In the first half, Tom Hanks he's got options, and Captain Phillips he's got options, and he's trying to work out what's the best thing to do. And he's got his crew that they're working out what the best thing to do is, but they're not communicating. It's quite exciting in that sense. They're trying to defend their ship. The second half is when he's a hostage, and all of the decision making and the deciding what the best thing to do is done from the Navy perspective. And the first half of the film, like the second half of the film, really is like a promo for the American Navy, but it's not, not shoved in your face. I don't think
it's not Michael Bay levels of like fucking hard like weapon pornography. No, I thought it was. In fact, you put it nicely where you said it was very much like Catherine Bigelow. It's flashy in Hollywood, but it doesn't feel over the top, and it has a realistic edge to it.
Yeah, it really does.
I particularly liked the SEAL team in this because they don't. I mean, basically, they don't really have any personality at all, and it very much shows you them that these are guys just turning up to do a job, and that's all there is to it, really. And I mean, there's a great shot when they're kind of packing up and going home, and it's so kind of nonchalant.
Yeah, they don't even care. When Tom Hanks is like walking past them, and he's like visibly shaking, and really, it's affected him completely. The Navy SEALs is like, yeah, let's go home. And I think that was really powerful.
Yeah, I thought the way they handled the kind of Navy SEALs and these men who are just there to do what is needed to be done no matter what, and they don't give a shit, and they're so well trained that they can do it in the blink of an eye without really breaking a sweat. I thought it was really good. I do think I really was grateful that this film shifted into the kind of more the involvement of the Navy and the more military focus towards the back end. This isn't an action film by any stretch of imagination. It's still tense and it's still about Captain Phillips with these pirates, but the focus does shift in the back half, and I'm very grateful for that because, as I say, going into this film, I was expecting a 2-hour Battle of Wills on the bridge of a cargo ship, and that was all. And it was couldn't be further from the truth, really.
No. It was odd. Like if this story had been set in any other place, it would have been like between hostage negotiators and like a SWAT team, for example. Yeah. The only reason the Navy are there is because they're at sea and it was their job. But it never gets to be a military film at all. No. It stays firmly in the thriller territory. Honestly, you could put this in a building.
Oh yeah, you could.
It would have held up.
Yeah, didn't they with the Negotiator all those years ago?
Good film.
I've not seen it for years. I can't really remember much about it. It's Sam Jackson, though, isn't it?
It's John Cusack as well. I'm thinking of Con Air now.
Is it not Kevin Spacey?
That sounds right.
It sounds right.
Someone's going to correct us. Well, no, but not. No one ever talks to us.
That's not true. Partly. But yeah, I mean, I think we've said quite a lot about Captain Phillips, or at least we've said a lot. I don't know whether we're necessarily talking about Captain Phillips. We've been going off a lot of tangents.
I've enjoyed this review, Ben. I've enjoyed it.
Fun. It's been fun. I think it's because it is a surprising. I honestly was surprised. The trailer did nothing for me for this film. And I'd been hearing that, it's going to be great, and I kind of thought, is this going to be considered great just because Tom Hanks is in it? Because I love Tom Hanks. He's a great actor. He's done some fucking mint films. He's done some amazing films. But there's a lot of stuff he's done lately which just felt like kind of slightly sentimental, phoning in, almost award baiting to certain points on certain films. Like, what was that one he did a few years ago, if not last year?
Incredibly Fast and Hilariously Close or something.
That doesn't sound right, but it sounds kind of along the right lines. But yeah, I know exactly what you mean. It was it incredibly loud and I don't know, extremely loud and incredibly close.
Yeah.
And that just looked awful. And I understand that it was pretty mediocre.
Yeah. I went to see this, the trailer did nothing for me. I just went to see this because it's got Tom Hanks in and there wasn't anything else out. And, I get excited about Tom Hanks, apart from that last one. But it's really nice going to watch a film that you're moderately interested in and then getting surprised to the point where you're like, wow, that was really, really good. And the same thing happened to me when I went to see Prisoners. Yeah. I was just stunned by, how... And no one's talking about it, so I hope more people start talking about this film than they did about Prisoners. But
I think it's doing all right for itself. As I say, I think it'll be one that does very well when it comes out on DVD, if not at the pictures. I think it'll build steam between now and its home release, and I think it'll gain a lot of credit for when the Oscars are ramping up. I think this is the first of the Oscar contenders we're starting to see. I just hope it hasn't been released too far out.
It might have been, yeah.
I don't think it necessarily has, because I think Tom Hanks carries a lot of weight.
Yeah, well, he does now.
With regards to that. Oh, man. God damn, that's not called for. The man's been through a lot.
Yeah, he has. I'm surprised he didn't look a lot trimmer after his 24 hours in a sauna, essentially.
Yeah, God, that looked grimy as shit.
That looked horrible. Can you imagine how bad that smelled?
Yeah. I can't imagine it would have smelled all that great.
Let's face it, these are pirates.
Yeah, they're not going to wash a lot.
No.
And they looked like they were in raggedy-ass clothes, and I can't imagine it was a pleasant
experience. What
experience.
sort of person tries to hijack a ship without wearing shoes? That's just what I'd like to know.
Hey, you're presuming he had a choice?
Muse had a choice. Why didn't he say, actually, I want him, he's got shoes on? To start the film, he's picking his crew.
Yeah, alright, okay. Yeah, he made a bad choice, alright? I think the film demonstrates that he makes a lot of bad choices. I'll pick a guy who's from a different village,
who I don't know. I'll pick a guy who's a psycho that's going to, probably be a liability. I'll pick a guy with no shoes. This could have gone completely differently.
It could have gone very differently several times along the way, to be honest, let's face it. But yeah, Captain Phillips, do you want to give your roundup and rating?
Go see it.
I wrestled with this one. I really did. I was kind of sitting there thinking, this is good. I'm enjoying it. I think this is pretty much a solid A. I'm enjoying it. It's good. It's Tom Hanks doing something great. And then the last portion of this film really, really got me. I thought Tom Hanks was very, very good. He got it was, as I say, Les Mis was the last film that made me kind of swell with emotion as much as the closing portion of this film. I don't know what it was, but it just really got me for some reason.
I got a tear all of a sudden, and it came as a surprise. Oh, this must be really good. It was just when the doctor was first talking to him, and she said that you're safe now. I was just like, oh, I'm crying. Never mind.
It was a well enough occasion, I thought. So I really did wrestle with giving this a gold star. But if there's one complaint I had, I thought maybe the middle portions dragged on a little bit long. But I think by the time I was starting to think that, it changed up again.
Yeah. Well,
so it was a very minor complaint. And I always feel that we're very, very much more critical of films than we are of necessarily games, because we seem to give a lot of gold stars out for games. We've given 3 this year.
Well, yeah, but it has been good for games this year.
It has been good for games, but we've only ever given one movie a gold star.
What was that?
Star Trek Into Darkness.
Oh yeah, well, it deserved it. Do you want to give this a gold star? Is that what you're saying?
See, I'm kind of tempted. So I think the fact that I'm tempted...
You can give it a gold star, but I'm sticking with A, so you're going to have to knock it down.
I thought it was the highest one.
No, we meet in the middle, don't we?
Well, we sometimes do.
A plus then, I guess.
I'll stick with an A. I think the fact that I usually think gold star is something that comes naturally, so I'm not going to debate too much about it. I think we're debating maybe too much about analysing our own rating system, which is very fucking loose to start with. But I think the fact that I have to debate maybe suggests that it isn't, because I think every time I've awarded one, it's just been like a natural kind of fuck it. Yes, it needs to be a gold star. But I think this is an A. It's a very solid A. I think A plus. It's really really good. It's I think just as you said, go and see it. It's something that you don't get a lot of films quite like this. Paul Greengrass is great. I think he continually proves that he's very very good. And it's nice to see him spread out and to do something a bit different other than a purely militaristic thriller. Because I think this is probably his film that's moved away from that territory the most since United 93.
Well, I'd agree with you there.
Because he's only literally done a Bourne film, Green Zone, and then this. Since United 93, he did the Bourne Supremacy just before that.
Did Ultimatum as well?
Yeah, that's it.
Oh, sorry.
Because he did Supremacy, United 93, Ultimatum, Green Zone, then this. Looking at his actual filmography, he's never in a hurry to do a project. I mean, he does one like every 3-4 years.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah,
I like that. Oh, we got a trailer for Ridley Scott's new film as well.
Alright, you should show me that after.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think this is a very, very high A. So go and see it. I think it's gonna be a good one for Oscars. And there's not a lot that you can criticise about it really. At least not that I can remember really. I've had 24 hours to digest this now. I think if I'd maybe come out with this straight away and we'd recorded the review, I might have just slipped into gold star territory. But having had a thought about it and maybe having its effect wear off on me a little bit.
Yeah, I can see that, yeah.
And had a chance to think about it a bit more critically. Yeah, I think a high A, a really strong positive A is. So yeah, Tom Hanks, man, he's back in business. They're just not slipping into more gooey bullshit territory. I want more Captain Phillips, more fucking Forrest Gumps, and more, what was his name in Saving Private Ryan?
Captain Miller.
Captain Miller. I want to have more Captain Miller.
That's going to be hard though, isn't it?
He loves his captains.
He does love his captains.
So yeah, the next time we'll be seeing him is actually this Friday in Toy Story of Terror.
Well, is he actually in that? Because it doesn't sound like him in the advert.
I know, it didn't, did it? It really didn't. I was wondering that actually, and I believe it may well be him. Yeah, it is actually. He's also in a Toy Story short that I've never seen, but I kind of want to, called Partysaurus Rex.
I'll have to have a look at that.
I don't know what it's about.
Of course, he's also got the Disney film coming out this year, which is also tipped for Oscar noms.
That's what we got a fucking trailer for. Yeah, we also got a trailer for that.
Well,
I gotta say, I didn't really like the look of it. I don't think it looks... Maybe it's just not my cup of tea, but it just like that kind of... Emma Thompson, Jesus. I was going to say Watson, but that's somebody completely different. Emma Thompson, who... I love Emma Thompson, actually. Not that I can't remember her name, apparently. But I really like Emma Thompson, everything she's in. But she just looked like that typical kind of, like, frumpy Middle England housewife from, the early 20th century. And Walt Disney's the slick American fun businessman. I'm just thinking, is it going to touch on his fucking dark anti-Semitic side?
Hope it does.
But yeah, it just looked like that kind of, like, slightly cornball... drama. It looked okay, I'm going to say, but
right.
Let's not that sully Captain Phillips.
This is going to be the year of Tom. Captain Phillips, I hope he wins for Captain Phillips and not the Disney thing so far.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Well, I see Jesus Christ, yes, the Disney thing may be fucking class, but it's going to have to go a long way to be better.
I need sights on target.
It was supposed to be easy. I take ship, ransom, nobody get hurt.
There's got to be something other than kidnapping people.
Maybe in America. Maybe in America.
Captain Phillips, can you hear me? Captain Phillips, can you hear me?